Okay, hello friends, this is Yusuf here. Welcome to another interesting video. So this video, we are going to see something interesting, which means we're going to talk about web services in RPGLE, which we have talked a couple of times also in the past. But this video, we are going to see how do we pass a custom HTTP header while calling the API. Okay, if this particular statement means confusing to you, we'll see it through examples. But the just I said the one liner, right? But to do that, I'm gonna do many things. Okay, so we are gonna create a web server using Node.js, and then we are calling the web API, which is developed by us with a custom header, and then we're gonna see whether is it reaching or not. Okay, so let's quickly get started. So let me give you a quick background, right? So if you want to call a web API. Okay, say for example, here I have a sample web API. Okay, so if we call the API, we get the response, right? So we send the request to this particular URL and we get the output. So if you want to do this in IBM AS400, we have a couple of ways to do it. Okay, one easy and quick way is to use the Scott Clemens library called HTTP-LIB, I think. Okay, so if you go search HTTP-LIB RPGLE, you will get the first link. Okay, with this one. So you can go and then search for it. You can install it. Okay, it's very easy. So if you have that, right, you can do things very fast. So first, let me show you how to call this particular URL and get this response from using RPGLE. Okay, so I have the code here. So basically what I'm doing here, it's very simple code. You can see the code is this much. So we have the URL defined. So before that, right, let's see what we have done. So we are basically including a binding directory called HTTP API. This was actually provided uh, by Scott's library itself. Okay, the binding directory is there. So this binding directory, by adding this into your RPGLE, you will get access to the procedures to make the HTTP request. Okay, fine. So we are having the HTTP debug on so that we can see what's happening when the request is making. Okay, and we have simply the URL and then IFS file to receive the output, right? And then we are actually calling the method here. Okay, it's a get method. We are passing the URL and we are passing the IFS file name, and we will be receiving the output in the IFS file. And basically what I'm doing a display file so that I can see the output as and when I received it. Okay, so CMD is nothing but again our Q command exe program. I have it as a prototype. Okay, so let's quickly see whether this is producing the same output of what we are expecting, right? So what we are expecting is this URL, whatever the output is given. Okay, here we should get this. Let's see. So let me compile it once. Right. So if you call this, right, after a couple of seconds, I see the data. So this data is available in home.us response.txt, right? So you can see the same result. Okay, so we got the output, right? But the intention of this video is not to show this. How do we pass the custom HTTP header? So for that, you should understand what is HTTP header, right? So during the HTTP call, okay, web call, we will pass something like a request header that will reach to the server. Based on this information, it can do its own calculation if required, and it will send back the response. Even the response will have something called response header and then response body. So if you want to quickly see that one, what I can do, I can go to this thing called RESTlet client, which is actually a client using which you can create or any web request. Okay, you can use Postman also here. So if I copy the same URL, okay, and then paste it here, and I say it's a get request, right? And then I'm saying send. So after that, you see there is a 200 response you got. And if I show this to raw, so this is the header information you got. Okay, and if you see here, it's a request header. So this is a headers we pass to the server, and this is a header the server sent back during the response. Okay, fine. Now the question is, how do we add our own custom headers in the request? Because this was not specifically given in the HTTP-LIB, but in some thread, Scott has explained how to do it. So that's what we're going to see. But to verify that, we're going to create our own web server, and then we're going to create our own API endpoint, and we're going to call that from RPGLE. Okay, so for that, we're going to use Node.js and then Express.js. So in my PC, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new folder. Maybe test express. Okay, and here let me open up a command prompt. So basically I have installed Node.js already. So now what you're going to see is actually how to create a Node application in your laptop or any server. Okay, why it is taking time. Okay, so we have the plain empty folder. I'm going to say npm init. So npm is called Node Package Manager. So what it will do, it will create a base for a new project. So this would be version, description, entry point. I say app.js. Let it be. Okay. So now we can see there is a file created called package.json. Okay, which means the template of the project is available. Now what I'm going to do, npm install express. So express is actually like a module in which we can install into the Node application, and we can create the web server easily, and we can handle request and response and those things. So let it install. So in the mean gap, we'll see a few more things. Say for example, okay, this is my PC, right? So if I install here, I can access the web endpoint using my local host. Okay, so my PC will act as a web server, and then I can test it. But if I want to test it from my IBMI, I should host this web server onto the public web, okay, somewhere in the internet. So for that, what I'm thinking, I'm going to use something called DigitalOcean. Okay, so DigitalOcean is actually a cloud service. You can create your account, and then this will help to create a virtual server. Okay, so whatever the application we're going to build in my local application, we're going to push it to this cloud version, and then we'll be able to access that in the internet. Okay, like how we are seeing this response, right? Similarly, this Node application we'll try to access through the internet. Once we're able to do that, right, we can access the same from our IBM AS folder also. Okay, that's the objective. So let's see what happened here. Oh, still installing. Maybe let me pause the video for a while. Okay, so now you can see the module is installed. Okay, now what we need to do, if you open the folder again, now we got a folder called node_modules. Okay, which means this node_modules is the folder where all the dependencies will be installed. Okay, this is more of a Node.js concept. Now what we are going to do, we're going to create a file called app.js, new document. Okay, so this is a JavaScript, right? So we have to go to the JS. Fine. So if you open this one, it's an empty file. We want to write the web server now. Okay, so it will be like const express equal to require express, and then const app is equals to express. So with this 2-line, the app variable will contain the express functions. So we're gonna have a port equal to 3300, and sorry. So here now we can do like app.get, and what is the URL we want to test. If I say /test, then when we hit that URL, what function to execute. Okay, so a function will be a parenthesis and then something like this. This is a syntax of JavaScript. So this will take request and response, and I can say response dot send hello. So let's see if this is working or not. Now to start the server, app dot listen to the port, and it will take a function console dot log server started at port. Okay, so this is a basic Express.js application. Let's save this one. Okay, so here what we are going to do, node app.js. So this should start server at 300, right? So if you go to our URL, if you put localhost 300/test, we are getting the hello response. Okay, fine. So now what we are going, I'm going to explain here. where is the request header? Okay, how to see the request header? Where is the request header? Okay, so when we get this, now you understand, right? So when we hit slash test, it's coming to this function. This function is having two variables, request and response, and using the response we are sending the response, but at the same time we also have the value inside the request. So if you want to do a console.log request.headers, okay, headers is one of the value available in the request. Okay, if I save this one, I should restart the server, control C and then start again. It should start. Okay, now if we request again, refresh again, see here we got the data. Okay, this is the data actually coming from the browser. Okay, here browser is actually the client, and server is nothing but our Node.js application. Okay, so this is request header. Okay, when the request is coming, it is having these headers. Now we are going to see how to add our own header into the request. Why we need to add that, I'll tell you in the end of the video, but let's quickly see how to add it. Okay, so to add that one, I'm going to use again the rested client. Okay, in here, if I now see HTTP localhost 300/test send, I should get the response below. The response will be what? Where is the response? Okay, here is the response. Hello. Okay. If I say for example, I'm adding header like API key 1234. Okay, I do the send. So what will happen here on the request headers? You can see the API key is available, and also now you should be able to see in the log. Okay, you can see that API key is there. Okay, now from RPGLE, okay, I'm making this request. Then how to add this API key 1234? That is the question. Okay, so let's do this one. Okay, now we saw that we created a small web application, right, or a web server, which can show the request header what is coming. Okay, why I wanted to build this, because when we are going to do this from RPGLE, we want to make sure that the server is getting the header or not. Okay, fine. But now I cannot call this localhost from my RPGLE because this is local machine, that is IBM server, so that is not reachable. So now I want to push this code to the DigitalOcean, right? So DigitalOcean means where is that? This server. Okay, this is IP of the server. So here I have the putty on which I connected to the server. How to push? So either we can create the same thing here, like typing everything, but I want to show you a different thing, how to push the data or the code using GitHub. Okay, so you might have heard Git and GitHub a lot. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to create a repository, new repository called test express. Okay, so that's not needed. Create repository. Okay, so now what we can do, this is our folder, correct? And let's minimize this. Let's stop this server. We don't want now. Okay, and now I already installed Git in my laptop, which means I can do here like Git init. Okay, when I do Git init, right, it will initialize a Git repository in the folder, and then if I type Git status, will show what are all the change files Git is tracking. Okay, now if you want to push this to the server, we can do something like this. Okay, first we need to add everything. So git add dot, we are adding everything. Oh, we should have done a git ignore. Okay, so what it is doing, it is trying to add all the data, which means even the node modules it is trying to add. Okay, but ideally we should ignore this node modules folder because we don't want it. If only if these three files is been pushed, then we can again do a npm install, then that will create the node modules. But here it is trying to do everything. I'm going to stop this one. I don't want it. Okay, so for that, what we have to do, we need to do one more thing. Okay, so type null dot git ignore. So this will create a empty file called git ignore, and then we just need to edit come on node underscore modules save. Okay, if you do that, if you do git status, okay, now if you see, it is not tracking the node modules folder at all. Okay, it is not showing here. Now if you see git add dot, only these files are added. Git status. Okay, these are the new files now. Okay, good. So now we simply need to do one thing. Where is it? Okay, we did the git add, then commit. So git commit -m initial commit. Okay, then we just need to do this thing. We are adding this GitHub as our remote origin. After that, we need to push it to the origin using this command. Okay, it'll take some time. So ideally, we could have done the same thing, like creating the application from scratch on the DigitalOcean droplet. But this is another way. When the actual application is there, we'll use GitHub to collaborate. Okay, fine. Now it's available. We push, right. So now if I refresh this particular GitHub page, you can see the files came here. Okay. Now I want this to be available in the node DigitalOcean, right? So I can copy this URL and I can go to my DigitalOcean server, pwd. Okay, so I'm gonna do here git clone and then the URL. So it will try to clone those data, and then if you see ls, we got all the data here. I can see, yeah. Okay, see test express is there now. Okay, so what we are going to do, cls cd to, oh, I should have done, we'll do it here, git clone, come on, clone cd ls-l. Now we see the folder created, cd test express cler. Now we see all those three files are available here. Okay, whatever was pushed. Now I can do npm install. So what now it will do, it will try to install the packages which is available from the package.json file. Okay, fine, whatever it is. Now if you go to ls-l, you see the node modules is now came. Okay, now we're going to edit this app.js file a bit. So nano app.js. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the port to 80. Okay, that's because from this cloud server, port 80 is exposed. Okay, so in the firewall. So I change that, and what I should do next is to start the server. So node app.js. So now the server is started in port 80 in the DigitalOcean server. So if we take that IP and then put into the URL, right, /test, now you see the same hello here. Okay, and in the DigitalOcean server, it is doing the console log. Okay, but why now this is important? Because now I can use this URL in my RPGLE. Okay, so if I change this to the DigitalOcean URL, oh, I did it correctly. Great. So I can comment this one. File, compile. Now we see we get the response hello. But if you come to the server, you see this is the request header now. Now the request came from the RPGLE, right? So from the RPGLE, you can see, oh, the API is already there. Okay, good. So we can see this is the data coming from the RPGLE, okay, which is AS400. Okay, where it came. Let me find that later. Okay, fine. Let's see how it came. Cool, fine. Okay, no worries. Okay, so now what we are going to do, how do we add our custom HTTP header, okay, into this? Okay, before that, we give this debug on, if you remember. Okay, we give this debug on, right, which means one file will be created in temp HTTP debug log. Here we can see all those data. Okay, here also the API is added somehow. We should need to find how, because we have not added the API key here in this example. never mind. Okay, so we'll see the actual example now. Okay, so it was so long, so sorry. Okay, so how to add the custom HTTP header is something like this. Okay, you need to create a procedure. Okay, like any name, add headers. Okay, and it will contain only one variable as the input, and you can type whatever the key value pair you want. Okay, then what we have to do before we call the actual API, right, we need to use the http underscore xproc exit point. That's what Scott says. So you need to use this particular value here and then the address of the sub procedure. So what it will do before executing this particular http get, it will try to fetch the headers from that procedure and add it here. Okay, one important point is the headers should end with ACRLF, because since I didn't put this right, I was like struggling for 1 hour to resolve the issue. Okay, so your headers, each header should be separated with the CRLF, and it should have at least one CRLF. Okay, so now to test this one, okay, basically I didn't do anything, the same thing, but I just had one additional sub procedure here called p headers, and we are adding that before we call the actual API, we are adding that into our call stack using this exit program. Okay, now to test this one, I'm really going to do something different. So API key ABCD. So I want to make sure this is what coming, right? So I can do this one and then change the URL to test. Because our URL is test only, right? Yeah. Okay. Save this one. Okay. All. So we get the same hello response. So if you come to my server, you can see the key ABCDF this came. Okay, so that's how it will work. But I really don't know how this. Maybe is it referring the old program? I don't know. When we called previously, you should not refer the API key because we have never set the API key here. But I'm still wondering. Maybe it is referring something else. Still, I have the doubt. Okay, I call this one again. See, again it takes the maybe it's there in the somewhere in the memory, so that's why it is taking it. Never mind. But the way how to add the header is using the xproc. Okay, where is that xproc? Yeah, so HTTP xproc, you add this particular HTTP point ADDL header value and key. The value is actually the address of the sub procedure, and sub procedure is very simple sub procedure. You will be having only one variable which will hold the key value pair of the header, what you want, and then value with the colon separator. Okay, so that's it I want to cover. So if you want to know the usefulness of this, say for example, you are designing this API, right? This web server, and you want to make sure to add a little bit of security, then you can give a key to your clients so that whoever is sending that key in the request header, only then you will validate in the program something like here, if the request.headers dot whatever it is, API key, whatever it is, if is equal to the one you are expecting, then you will do the processing, else you will say invalid request or not authorized on those things. Okay, but anyway, that's more of the scope for handling the web APIs. Okay, so that's it I want to cover. I think I took a lot of time, but you guys might have seen many things of what we are doing basically, and the main thing was actually this adding the headers into the HTTP GET call. Okay, so hope you would have got some information and like this video, and I'll see you in the next video with a different concept. Thanks for watching.